Well, here we are once again. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, to you, to you, to you, to you. Wherever you are, good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in. It's another great opportunity for us to come together. You know what time it is. And this is a great opportunity for us to share more, to learn how to grow, to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves. This is not just any old thing, y'all. This is Monday Mental Real Estate. This is with yours truly, Dr. Michael Freeland. And I'm sitting in this seat once again. Every single week of every single month of every single year, I have been here without fail. Oh my God, what a commitment it takes. Trust me, I know. But I want to say good morning to all of you and thank you for taking your time to tune in for Monday Mental Real Estate. But before I continue, you know I got to ask you the infamous question. How was your weekend? Did you spend time with someone that loved you? Did you spend time with someone that you love back? Did you get an opportunity to learn from someone and to grow in a different way in your life? Because you know what? It's highly, highly important that we recognize the places in our lives where people have the most impact. And where we can create the impact in the lives of others is 100% a total key to life itself. So let's continue to do what we do and understand that, listen, Monday Mental Real Estate is designed for you. So before I even get started and get off into this, let me just go ahead and tune in and say, listen, thank you all for taking your time for Monday Mental Real Estate because it's so important in everything that we do. So before I even get started, I got to let you know, hey, this is Monday Mental Real Estate with yours truly, Dr. Michael Freeland, where we're talking about the positive and negative contributors to your mindset. And what does that mean for you? Absolutely everything. Without fail, Monday Mental Real Estate must go on. So let's get right to it because, you know, I love these things that we call life applications. And why are life applications so important? Because it really helps build the relativity to the topic. The relativity to life and why we do what we do and why we continue on the path that we do. But Monday Mental Real Estate can't fail. So let's keep going. Today's Monday Mental Real Estate life application has to do with somebody very important to me because, you know, let me say, you know, I've told you guys that if you don't understand that I live with a very serious leg condition that I've had to deal with my entire life. And my entire life was predicated on how I had to learn, how I had to cope, how I had to deal with it, how I had to manage it, because this leg condition is not anything to be played with. But here's the thing. The times that I had to go through what I went through when it comes to the sickness that I had to manage it a lot of times with my mother. Now, my mother, you've heard me say this many times, how my mother was my champion. She did this for me. She did that for me. She made sure that I was well taken care of, the best that we could. And now, here's the thing, because I know how much my mom watched me suffer. I know how much she watched me go through so many different areas of my life, so many different things, and so many doctors and all these things. But here it is. But you know what? I realize is that it was a lot of suffering for one, but at the same time, she doesn't get to just give me all of that love and attention, because at some point I had to learn how to give it to her. Because my mom, and I'm going to just share this with you because I'm transparent today, is that my mother used to go through some serious things when she was younger as well. And I can remember when it was just me and her staying together, is that my mom used to have these bad headaches. And I never understood what these headaches were all about. I just knew that my mom was not doing well, but I would call them headaches, but it was more severe than that. If you ever understood what it was like to have a headache, it was like, imagine the worst thing that you could ever have and have no remedy for it. That was my mom. It was at the time where my mom had to be led around with a blindfold on because she could not, her eyes were so sensitive to the light that it would kill her. She would literally cry because of how much pain she was in. And there would be times that my mom would be in bed for 2 to 3 days just because she couldn't manage a lot of the pain that she was going through. So for me, it was just crazy to see how my mom would go through this, but yet still take time to deal with me when I suffered. But at the same time, I had to watch my mother suffer. Now, you know, today's Monday Mental Real Estate is about building perspective and helping you understand that this thing that we call suffer and what we go through in life can be a lot overbearing, can be very overbearing, can be very much a whole lot of things that really dial into what life can be all about. Because I never imagined that at some point in that life of mine when I was a young boy, with all the things that I was going through, I had to now watch my mother go through a lot of suffering. Now, this suffering, again, I just explained to you, is about when it came to her eyesight. She used to have these very, very bad pains. I don't know if they were migraines, but to me, it was way more extreme because she had to be led around like she had lost her sight. And it was very serious. So to watch my mom suffer was one thing. But let me share something else with you, and then I'm going to tie this together, is that I can also remember when it came to like every single season of every single year in sports and athletics, you see how people would go through these boot camps. Like KU right now going through boot camp with their players, and everybody would go through this stuff, and they would go through all this training. That means in boot camp, you go through all this training, and oh my God, they would have to suffer. Now, they would be running so much. They'd be throwing up in trash cans. Trust me, guys, I know. They would be going through so much when it came to trying to get themselves conditioned. Now, you're asking me, I know what you're thinking is, what is your mom going through the fact of her eye issues and knowing that it was so difficult, and the fact that you had to watch your mother suffer. And then I had to go through my own set of suffering just by living daily with a condition that I didn't know how to manage. And now we're talking about basketball players at a university that have to go through all of these things in their life, and they have to suffer through knowing what it's like to go through the rigors of training, the rigors of getting it right, the rigors of getting the knowledge for what they're going to need for the upcoming season. Now, what do these people have in common more than anyone? What does all of this have in common? Because for one, like I said before, it's something about suffering. But the fact about suffering is we'll suffer a lot of times by what we go through. What we've been through will suffer. But see, the thing about even with the basketball players is that they have to suffer through this boot camp. They have to suffer through this training. They have to suffer through all this and do exactly what is needed in preparation for where they're going. Now, that's funny because my mom had to suffer through all of this, but she didn't understand how in preparation of where she was going. I had to suffer through my leg condition, but didn't understand how in preparation it was for where I was going. But let me tie some things together for you today, because Monday Mental Real Estate is about building that perspective, and today is no different. Boy, this sun is bright. But let me keep this going, because the question today, because a lot of times we suffer, and we don't want our loved ones to suffer. And I remember watching, some of my loved ones go through the transition of life before I even get into this reading material, watching them go through the transition of life. And in the transition of life, one of the things that we see is that they suffer. Now, that's funny because we a lot of times go to that home, to that place, that hospice area where they're taken for their final resting place before the transition is complete. And one of the things that they come out from the back room and say is that we gave them something to help make them comfortable. Now, it's funny how life is. I wish that life at sometimes would just do something to help make things a little bit more comfortable. But this is anything but that. When we're talking about the life that we live, the life that we give, the life that we share, there's places in our life where comfortable is not an option. There's places in life where comfortable has its own transition, doesn't it? But let me give you something, because I want to give it to you straight, because I ain't going to keep you long. The question today, because a lot of times people go through things, but they don't want to suffer. Let me say that again. They go through things, but they don't want to suffer. They want to be comfortable. Remember those people that sit up in the church a lot of times? They say, hey, I'm coming to church on Sunday. You want to be comfortable. You want to be in the position, but you don't necessarily want to suffer. And frankly, I can't find anybody in their right mind that would ever welcome suffering, because suffering comes with a price. Now check this out. The question today, is it biblical for the human body to suffer? Now, some of you may know the answer to this. Some of you may understand where I'm coming from. But the fact is, there are someone out there that may need this little bit of level of education today. When I'm going there, and I'm going there directly straight to you, is it biblical for the human body to suffer? Now listen to this. Yes is the answer and the response. If I want to close it up now, I'm done. Yep, sure is. Figure it out. But that's not what I'm made for. So let me give it to you straight. Yes. Suffering of the human body is a biblical reality. It didn't say it's a must. It said it is a reality, not something to be surprised by. Listen, it's not something to be surprised by, as the Bible teaches that suffering is an expected part of life in a fallen world. While the ultimate hope is in a future without pain, suffering serves several purposes in this life, including conforming believers to God's image, refining their faith, increasing their dependence on God, and allowing them to comfort others in similar situations. Now, think about this. How many times, and it was crazy, it's like, it's in believers and non-believers. This has nothing to do with the fact that if you have a relationship with God, you are going to suffer in points of your life. Now, it's funny because you think about this. How many times, ask yourself the question, how many times have you been in a position where you've been around people who were not necessarily believers, but you hear something that comes out of their mouth that reminds you and it triggers you that he's still active, that he's still who he says he is, because they may not speak the same way you do. They may not believe like you do, but let something happen in their life and you hear them say, oh my God, and you like this. You hear him say, oh Jesus. And wait a minute, just a minute ago, I just heard about 3 sentences of curse words. But for some reason, when you get startled, when you get scared, boy, don't you get close. And you hear him say, oh my God. Yeah. So when you say something like that, what does that mean exactly? Now, because there's a measurement of suffering, I'm getting back to it. Let me give you some things that is expected. A natural consequence of a fallen world. The existence of suffering is a result of humanity's fall from perfection. It's a suffering. The existence of suffering is a result of humanity's fall from perfection. Now, direct biblical statements. The Bible explicitly states that people will experience trials, such as in Peter 1, 4, and 12, which says believers should not be surprised by fiery trials. Jesus also said, in this world you will have tribulations. You thought you was exempt, didn't you? But listen, don't mind me. Please be comfortable. Let's get here, because I want to give you guys a few more facts here. Biblical examples. Many faithful figures in the Bible, including prophets, Jesus himself, and apostles like Paul and Stephen, endure significant suffering, demonstrating that faith does not prevent it. Listen to me, demonstrating that faith does not prevent it. That's funny. We think that faith prevents us from suffering. Do you believe? Yes, I believe. Do you believe that God has came and saved your life? Yes, I believe it. Do you believe that Jesus Christ has come to do something better in your life? Yes, I believe it. But does it prevent you from going through the suffering that you're going to endure in this life? Absolutely not. So stay right here with me, because here, what is the purpose of suffering? Refining the strengthening faith. Suffering can purify believers, leading to spiritual maturity and growth, increased dependence on God. Now listen, through suffering, believers become more aware of God's sustaining power, fostering a deeper trust in him. Fostering a deeper trust in him. Listen, that's something. How you talk to people, they say all the things that they've done, and you say you haven't really been through anything. Isn't it funny how you've been tested by fire? You've been tried by your faith, but there are people in this life that haven't seen what you've seen, gone through what you've gone through. So your level of understanding is a little bit different about this thing we call your faith. So let me tell you something else here. Conformity to God's image. Experiencing suffering can help to refine the perfect believers, making them more like Christ. Now, comforting others. These are purposes of suffering. These are the purposes. Listen, conforming others. A shared experience of suffering can lead to compassion and a greater ability to comfort another who are hurting. Let me read that again. A shared experience of suffering can lead to compassion and a greater ability to comfort others who are hurting. Oh my goodness. Now, manifestation of Christ's life. Through suffering, the power of Christ can be more evident in and through believers. Now, the hope. No more suffering. The Bible promises a future in God's kingdom where there will be no more tears, death, mourning, or pain. Revelations 21:4. This eternal hope gives perspective to current suffering. Now, let me ask you. That's my reading. When it comes to the life that you live, as I was just sharing with you earlier, when it comes to me going through the condition that I live with, my mother going through the condition that she had to live through. These players in universities are going through. Like I said, when it comes to suffering, there's areas in life where you don't understand and don't see how suffering is relevant in your life. But at the same time, suffering is a necessity. Now, we go through suffering in this earth because we know that there is what? A telltale ending to this. But the thing is, the thing that people are scared of most is the spirituality suffering. That suffering, you don't know when it's going to last, how long it's going to last, when it's going to come, and how many. Some people have suffered for years. Some people have suffered for a lifetime to get to a place where they can find some peace and freedom and comfort. Now, because we have all lived and we are living long enough, and if you ain't suffered at all, I include you in this conversation to please keep living. Because it's funny, because a lot of times we want to know, when are we going to see the end of this? Now, let me dare say, if we know the end of our suffering when it comes to a disease, if we know the end of our suffering, even if the end of our suffering knows that it's going to take us to the edge of our own life, or if it even ends in the sacrifice of our life. God is not requiring your life right now, because if he wants it, he can take it. But what I am telling you is a lot of times in the life that we live, we are required for that sacrifice. Now listen, he didn't ask you to put that thorn crown on. He didn't ask you to put nails through your hands and your feet and hang on the cross. He didn't ask you to put a spear in your side. All he asked you for was your sacrifice. Now let me ask you the question. What are you willing to do? And what does it mean to you? What are you willing to do, and what does it mean to you? Because when we're talking about the relationship that you have with God, some of us want to just walk in the door and think that we ain't got no scars on our body. We ain't got no fragments missing from our face. We don't have no bones broken in our body. We think that we're really going to get where we need to go, believing that if I can just get through this, with the faith that I have experienced, and the faith has nothing to do with your measurement of suffering, because it doesn't prevent it. Let me say that again. It does not prevent your level of suffering when it comes to your relationship with God. Now, he can still love you, and he does. He can still make you feel amazing, and he does. He can still bless you, and he does. There's so many things in this life that we've gained because of his grace, and he does. And it feels amazing to know that we have been looked down and smiled upon, because life has given us a different course of direction. But the reality of it is, as much as he's given us, as much as he's shared with us, as much as God has loved on us, and he's blessed us, he's blessed our children, he's blessed our family and generations, he has kept all of us, he still requires your level of suffering. There's an old saying that says, you ain't got no skin in the game. So let me ask you, every one of us is going to have to leave our pound of flesh in the game. Now, what is this game I'm talking to you about? This thing of life. But a lot of times we look at it as a game, but listen to what I'm telling you. If he paid the price, make the sacrifice. Listen to me again. If he paid the price, make the sacrifice. One more time for all of y'all that didn't hear me in the back row. If he paid the price, you must make the sacrifice. I know it's not easy. And a lot of times, like I said, none of us has ever asked for suffering. None of us have ever asked for pain. None of us. Are you kidding me? Who's going to line up for that? Hold on. Y'all got pain over there? Over there on the corner of 37th and Adams? I'm on my way. I'll be there in a minute to get mine. Don't worry. Pick it up for me if you want to, but I'll be there to get it. If life was only that simple. But we don't know. Because for one, you don't know how long you got. God is not telling anyone how much time we have. We just need to know that we have time. As long as we exist, we have time. And if you have time, you have an option. If you have an option, you got an opportunity. If you got an opportunity, you can find some place in this life that you fit and you belong. And if you find where you belong, you'll understand there's a measurement to this thing that we call life. The sacrifice. And when it comes to the things that we do, the pain that we share, because man, it's common to man. It's none of us out here that's getting past this thing called pain and suffering. And the thing is, even though you know that you're going through it, that's funny, because you know what? Let me tell you, the reality is, if you live long enough, some of y'all wake up hurting every day. Some of y'all deal with pain every day. Oh my God. Listen, that's why I tell these kids, keep living. They don't always understand, but the fact of life and the matter is this. You give what you know you can. You learn where you know where you can. And because at some point, somebody's going to need to understand this process that we call life. This process that God is putting us through, because everybody's going to have trials. It says none of us are exempt. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care how much you smile. I don't care how much you have. It doesn't mean anything when it comes to the relevance of the reason that we have to live this life. Because if he paid the price, he suffered the cost. And if he suffered the cost, all he's asking you for is your sacrifice. So in this life, where is your sacrifice? Where do you give up? Where do you get to that point where you tired? Y'all know that saying, I got tired. What made you come to Christ? Because I got tired. Would you get tired of? I got tired of living this life because a lot of times we did just like our mom and dad said. Y'all think y'all know everything. You can be 50 and 60 years old and still think you know everything. But the reality of it is that God has paid a price for you. Jesus has left his life out there for you. Now, I'm not trying to hear bringing people to Christ. I'm giving you what God's given me. When I get downloads, it's coming out. I don't sit here and try to prep this thing. I'll give you some institutional things, but when I come to you with the reality of what God is dropping into me, I got to share it. Because listen, I can't be held on the line for what I didn't say to you. I got to give it to you straight. And the purpose for this is not only to save your life, but to help you understand. But even though you go through life and it may be hard, it may be trying, sometimes it hurts, sometimes it's mentally disastrous, sometimes it's physically painful, but is it necessary for you to go through what you're going through right now? 100% accurately, yes. Now, why would I tell you that? Because the development and your maturity of your mentality is your mental real estate. The maturity of your mentality is your mental real estate. The perspective of your mind and your mentality, the positive and negative contributors to your mindset. So today is no different, as I want to share this little bit with you to help you understand. Just because we go through life, just because life is good, don't mean we ain't gonna meet that measurement of suffering. Even if it's on your deathbed, I can remember my granddaddy with all that pain he was going through. When the grace of God hit my grandfather, the last thing out of his mouth I ever heard was that I love every one of you. That was his last words. That's the last words I remember him saying before his transition. Now, how wonderful is that? Let me pause this for a minute, because how wonderful is that to think about going through the transition of life. And when you finally find that grace that you have suffered your entire life, when you find that grace, the reason why you're laying in that hospital bed, when you find that grace, wondering why all these caregivers are all around you and you can't feel half of your body, when you find that grace that moves you from one location in your life to another, and that transition is so plain in view that you can see two different lives at one time, because I witnessed it with my own eyes. When you see something like that happen, you got no choice but to realize that the grace of God is going to take the pain. It's going to take away the suffering. And when it's time for you to move on from this life, dare I say, suffer no more. Suffer no more. Hey, listen, this is Dr. Michael Freeland, and I wanted to hop in. That's right. I wanted to hop in and just share some tidbits with you. God is amazing. I take nothing away from the fact that he's everything and the total reason why I exist today. Still living with the same disease that I've been born with. And I can remember the doctors giving me a life expectancy. I can remember the doctors telling me how long I would have to be able to move around with the physical abilities of my leg condition. And how long they told me that I would never have children. They told me that I would lose my leg at an early age. I won't have the abilities. They gave me steroid shots to make sure that my legs grew evenly. Are you hearing what I'm saying to you? But listen, but the thing is, it was the doctors talking. But they didn't understand that I'm paying the price for my measurement of suffering that is required for my life. Because why am I telling you this? How do I know that God had a sustaining ability in the life that I'm living right now? Because he has sustained me through everything that the doctor said and surpassed their opinions. Sustained me through everything that the doctor said, but also surpassed their opinions. I'm still alive, well in my 50s right now. And in all technology and all science, I shouldn't even be here. Don't tell me that the life that you have that is designed for your life doesn't work for you. It's going to come for you at some point. It just ain't going to come for you right now. So stay tuned, stay in touch, and make sure that your mental real estate is really gaining the knowledge that it needs, because somebody's going to need to hear this word on today. And it may not be my word. It may come from you. And when it's your turn to give it because you're giving life. So God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in for Monday Mental Real Estate. Let me shout some people out for a moment. And thank you all again for tuning in. Anita Phillips, what's going on, my sister? I appreciate you. Thanks for hopping in. My brother Antoine Montu, what's going on, bro? Big bro all the way in PA. What's happening, man? I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you so much, Yolanda Shaheed. Thank you so much for taking your time for Monday Mental Real Estate. Boy, I get so excited sometimes. I tell you what, Adrian Revels, my big bro, my brother from another mother. This is how we grew up, man. God bless you. Thank you so much for choosing to continue to serve God, man. You're a great man. Continue to change lives, because lives are going to be changed just because of you. God's put you in a great place, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Jetta Thompson, mother, good morning. I see you. Thank you for hopping in. Thank you for tuning in. As always, you are special, so special. Continue to live this life through the pain, through the suffering. Continue to live this life, mother. God bless you, Jetta Thompson. Thank you so much. All right, here, what else we got? I see you. Thank you, Yolanda Shea. Thank you, kind sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Have a great day, Yolanda Shaheed. Last but not least, charge it to the head, not the heart. If I forget you, Brenda Redmond, my mama, my life's blood. God bless you, mama. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of everything I do. I know I kind of put you under the radar this morning, but you know what? Transition and transparency have a little bit to do with one another. So I appreciate you. So let's keep doing what we do, mama. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in. And once again, Monday Mental Real Estate lands on its feet. I'll see you guys next week, okay? God bless you and be inspired. Remember, guys, it's a little pain, maybe a little suffering, but there's an end game to this, and you're going to like it. Stay tuned and stay in there, and don't give up. Because when it's your turn and it's your time, no more pain, no more suffering. God bless you all. We'll talk again soon. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Hey.